right? Just want to go ahead and add a little more to about using the distributive property. Remember, the distributive property allows us to take some number A multiplied by two things added or subtracted, and multiply the A times the first term and A times the second term. All right, so here we're going to look at a couple more examples. So here we have 6 times x. This will give me 6x. And I have 6 times 3, which is 18. Another way I like to think about it, because there is a minus here, I like to think of it instead of 6 times negative 3. So I get the appropriate sign, and my multiplication is really up to you how you want to think about it. All right. Next one here, I have a negative 3. So this whole, the negative needs to go with the number in this case. So I have negative 3 times y. That'll give me a negative 3y. And a negative 3 times a positive 7. There's the plus here, it's positive. That gives me a negative 21. Okay, so we did just get finished talking about order of operations, and what I want to know is when I see something, how do I know whether I need to use order of operations PEMDAS or the distributive property? And what I want to do is look at what's inside my parentheses. Remember, the first thing we need to look at is our parentheses or grouping symbols. And what I want to do is when I look inside my parentheses, can those numbers be combined? If the answer is no, I'm going to use the distributive property. If my answer is yes, then I'm going to go ahead and use order of operations. So my first example here, x plus 7, those two things cannot be combined. They're not like terms. So I'm going to go ahead and use my distributive property. And 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 7 is 14. There's a plus there, so plus 14. Now in this example here, notice I have a 7 minus 2. This is where I would go ahead and use my order of operations to go ahead and simplify it. So my 5 would be multiplied, 7 minus 2 is 5, and my 5 times 5 is 25. You can distribute, but then you will have to do the subtraction afterwards. So it's good just to look at the inside of your parentheses, see what's going on. All right, a few more examples here. So I have a negative 3 on the outside, so my negative must go with me when I just go ahead and do this. 6x minus 2 cannot be combined. So I have negative 3 times a positive 6. That gives me a negative 18. And then the x goes with it. Then I have a negative 3, and I'm thinking of this as a negative. And a negative times a negative gives me a positive. And 3 times 2 is 6. Right, last one. Remember, when I have a negative on the outside by itself, and there's nothing on the other side of it, I want to think of this as a 1. So I'm taking negative 1 and multiplying it by each piece. And what that is going to do, just going to change the signs. That's all it's going to do, because 1 times anything is itself. All right. So I have negative 1 times x is going to give me a negative x. I don't need to write the 1. You can if you want. We don't write the 1 normally. And negative 1 times a positive 3 will be minus 3. Okay. So hopefully this cleared up a few more things. I'll see you in the next video.